Ready to learn how to approve timesheets? Let's get started. First, in order to approve a timesheet, you'll need to be listed as the supervisor for any employee whose timesheet you will be reviewing. This association occurs in the employee record. Under the Demographics tab, you will see a Reports To field. The person listed here is the only person who will have the ability to approve the staff's timesheet. The Reports To person and the employee themselves are the only two users that will see the timesheet. Once that link has been made, at the Timesheets desktop, you will now see all of the employees whom you are the Reports To person for in two different places. First, when you click Add Timesheet, you will see your name plus all of your staff. This means that you could create timesheets for any of these staff in the event that they are not able to do so themselves. Secondly, once timesheets have been created, you will see each of these listed on the left-hand side for each one of your staff. Timesheets are ready to be approved once they have been signed by the staff. Staff typically should not sign their timesheet until they have verified all of their time, since once they have signed it, they are not able to make any edits, unless they were to unsign. That said, you should feel confident that a signed timesheet is ready to be reviewed for approval. To begin reviewing, click on the timesheet of the pay period intended to be approved. You will see the total hours per day and the grand total at the very bottom. It is recommended to open up the daily summary in order to view the details. Pay close attention to the icons under the Type column. Hovering your mouse over the icon will reveal a tooltip that indicates how the time was entered on the timesheet. The three options are Notes, Schedules, or Manually Enter Time. If you are requiring the billable time to be generated from approved notes or even schedules, then your review process should check for any manually entered time. As an example, there are two records for the same time, and it is easily differentiated by the Type icon. One record comes from a note, and one was manually entered. While securities can assist in managing whether overlapping time can be overridden, you would want to remove the time since it is duplicate. As the Reports To person for this employee, you do have the authority to remove time from the timesheet even when it is signed. Likewise, you may also add time if you discover missing time. The staff will receive an automatic task notification on their dashboard that their timesheet was edited. You may also choose to open up a time record and send a personalized task if that is necessary. Another point of queuing that is important to incorporate into your routine is to click on the Import into Timesheet button. While the caregiver should be responsible for managing this step in order to establish their billable time, there could be circumstances, mainly time-related, that arise where notes become approved for payroll after the timesheet has been signed. If any notes display here, and you determine they should in fact get considered on this timesheet, then select the notes and import into Timesheet. Otherwise, the notes will remain eligible for import into the next pay period's timesheet for the caregiver. In this timesheet example, you can see two note records highlighted pink. If you hover your mouse over the record, you are notified that the particular service on the note is not eligible for billing or for payroll. The note is still carried through the system lifecycle, but the time is not included in the total. This note is simply for reference and to acknowledge how employee time was spent in the pay period. As mentioned before, you do have the option to edit the time record in order to add a task. Other options include viewing the note, or clicking the DMS button to upload a document to support the time record. A few other buttons to mention are found at the top of the timesheet. The Validate Timesheet button will present any warning messages that were displayed at the time the entries were made and again when the caregiver signed their timesheet. It is recommended to routinely click on this prior to approving in order to understand where any time is out of compliance with system standards and setup. These messages could be a factor in how the time is ultimately approved. The Late Notes report will show notes that occurred before the date range of this timesheet but are not found on any other timesheet, as well as notes that occurred before or during the date range of this timesheet but were signed after the date range of this timesheet. An export timesheet allows you to print this report or to export it into another file type, such as Excel, PDF, and so on. The very last step, once all time is verified, is to click the Approve button. Enter in your password, which is the same one you used to log into the program. You will again be presented with any validations, and you may override according to your security settings. In this case, all messages could be overridden, and so the timesheet was successfully approved. The status of the timesheet is now clearly marked as approved. The timesheet is now ready to be pulled for payroll purposes. If any edits need to occur at this point prior to the payroll run, then unapprove the timesheet to unlock the time and edit accordingly. Only approved timesheets are eligible to be pulled into payroll. Should you have any questions, please contact our support department by going to Options, Support, and Contact Support.